Washington, D.C. residents may be intent on making the world go round, but even politicos need a break. Fortunately, the region around the capital of the United States delivers day trips for every mood. Mountains, lakes, the Atlantic Ocean and countryside are within easy reach. Adorable small towns and bustling cities are filled with fascinating history. You have plenty of options for a day trip from Washington, D.C. 1. Shenandoah National Park, Virginia. One of the greatest perks of living in Washington, D.C. is that within an hour's drive, you can be deep within the natural beauty of Shenandoah National Park. Hikes for every taste and fitness level await. For an easy stroll, there's Dark Hollow Falls, leading to a pretty waterfall. More challenging is Hawksbill Mountain, featuring an uphill trudge that rewards with magnificent, nearly 360-degree views from the park's highest peak. Wherever you are, you'll enjoy waterfalls, mountain laurel, stunning vistas and, if you're lucky, a black bear sighting. How to get to Shenandoah National Park? The best option is to drive. Shenandoah National Park has 3 gated entrances: the north entrance at Front Royal, off I-66, Thornton Gap east of Luray, via US 211, and the south entrance at Rockfish Gap near Waynesboro. The closest one to DC is the north entrance, about an hour's drive west. The entrance fee is $25 per vehicle. 2. Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore's Inner Harbor has long been a draw for Washingtonians. With its shops, restaurants, historic ships and famous aquarium, you can spend a fun day there. But Baltimore is a city on the move, and there's no place that showcases this better than the neighborhood of Fells Point. This historic cobblestoned area is anchored by Sagamore Pendry, Baltimore, which merits a walk through at the very least, just to see its gorgeous interior garden courtyard. Founded by William Fell in 1730 and once a thriving shipbuilding center, Fells Point is making a comeback with locally owned boutiques, casual eateries and bench-dotted parks. Take a walking tour with Baltimore National Heritage Area or Baltimore Ghost Tours. This was the last place Edgar Allan Poe was seen alive, you know. Afterwards, find a table at the Point in Fells for local fare and glorious harbor views. How to get to Baltimore? Baltimore is about an hour's drive north of DC via I-95. Avoid rush hour if possible. You can also hop aboard the Amtrak Northeast Regional from Union Station, which departs several times daily. You'll need a cab or rideshare to reach Fells Point, a couple miles from Baltimore's Penn Station. 3. Annapolis, Maryland. Maryland is all about its blue crabs, best enjoyed along a bucolic waterway at a traditional crab shack. One of the best is Jimmy Cantler's Riverside Inn, tucked away on Quiet Mill Creek beyond downtown Annapolis. You sit at a community table covered with butcher paper and join in the fun as a huge bucket of boiled crabs, doused with Old Bay spice, is strewn across the table. The waitstaff will give you a lesson on how to eat the guys, or you can avoid the hard work and order a crab cake sandwich. Walk off the meal in downtown Annapolis, where colonial-era buildings house art galleries, clothing stores and, if you're still hungry, local eateries. Check out Ego Alley at the foot of Main Street, aka Annapolis City Dock, where million-dollar yachts strut their stuff. You can also walk around the U.S. Naval Academy, with highlights including the chapel, burial place of John Paul Jones, and a visitor center spotlighting the Navy's history and greatest moments. How to get to Annapolis? Annapolis is located about a half-hour's drive east of Washington, D.C., via US 50. 4. Northern Neck, Virginia. Maryland may have blue crabs, but Virginia has oysters. The Northern Neck is the place to discover how these succulent bivalves have influenced every aspect of local life. Rappahannock Oyster Company in Topping provides the 411 on oyster harvesting. This seemingly small operation, perched on a scenic offshoot of the Chesapeake, daily sends fresh, luscious oysters as far away as Las Vegas. Walk out on the dock and see the sorting in action and then sample them at the on-site Waterside Merwar restaurant. You'll find oyster-related artwork at Allure Art Center in White Stone, oyster-inspired jewelry at Burke's Fine Jewelers, a historical overview of regional oystering at the Reedville Fishermen's Museum, and oyster and wine pairings at Dog and Oyster Vineyard in Irvington. Consider staying overnight at Tides Inn, where you can sample the signature Angry Oyster, a local twist on buffalo wings, and take part in the inn's Virginia Oyster Academy, or simply relax by the creek and do nothing at all. How to get to the Northern Neck. The Northern Neck extends east of Fredericksburg, located south of DC off I-95, and requires a car to get around. It takes close to 3 hours to drive to Irvington, the heart of oyster country. 5. Harper's Ferry. West Virginia history and natural beauty are always a winning combo, and few places do it better than Harper's Ferry. Set at the confluence of the Shenandoah and Potomac rivers, surrounded by oak-covered mountains, it's a sight to behold. Plenty of Washingtonians head here to hike its many trails. Most notably, the Maryland Heights Trail leads to a stunning promontory overlooking the town, and showing why the Heights were such a strategic target during the Civil War. The town's other claim to fame is none other than John Brown, the abolitionist who led his ill-fated raid here in 1859, setting the stage for the Civil War. Be sure to join a walking tour of the Arsenal Historic Area, delving into the dramatic story, and save time for the excellent John Brown Museum. Tip: don't confuse it with the nearby John Brown Wax Museum, unless you're into eerily kitsch wax figures crowding a rambling old house. How to get to Harper's Ferry. Harper's Ferry is an easy 90-minute drive northwest of DC via I-270 and US 340. 6. Middleburg, Virginia. DC is a cork's toss away from hundreds of wineries, and there's no better wine tasting destination than the beautifully preserved, colonial town of Middleburg, deep in the heart of Virginia horse country. Greenhill, one of the few wineries to offer sparkling wine, and Chrysalis, advocate of the indigenous Norton grape, are both nearby, where tastings, winery tours and picnicking abound amid rolling countryside. Middleburg itself offers one-of-a-kind boutiques, antique shops, the Mount Defiance Cidery and Distillery and the decadent Salamander Resort and Spa. Market Salamander is a favorite spot to pick up picnic supplies, including cheese, charcuterie, soups and salads. How to get to Middleburg. Middleburg is about an hour's drive from DC via I-66 and US 50. 7. Mount Vernon. One of America's most visited historic sites, Mount Vernon was the beloved home of George and Martha Washington, who lived here from the time of their marriage in 1759 until George's death in 1799. Regular guided tours of the furnished main house give a fascinating insight into the Washingtons' daily life, and self-guided tours of the outbuildings and gardens estate offer plenty of opportunities to interact with actors offering first-person narratives of working and living on the 18th-century plantation. From April to October, the Mount Vernon entrance ticket also includes entry to Washington's nearby distillery and grist mill. A free shuttle travels between these and the estate. How to get to Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon is 16 miles south of DC, off the Mount Vernon Memorial Way. By public transportation, take the Metro, Yellow Line, to Huntington and then switch to Fairfax Connector Bus 101. Gray Line, onboard tours and USA guided tours run bus tours from DC. Several companies offer seasonal boat trips to Mount Vernon. It's also possible to ride a bike along the Potomac River from DC, 18 miles from Roosevelt Island.